because they were. Meanwhile, in my room, I'd be entertaining the kids. Sometimes Auntie Barbara would bring a grandchild or two, and Sharon would do the same. I would immediately shift from being a usually lonely only child into a makeshift hostess and pseudo mother for the younger kids. I'd set up the little ones with video games so that I'd be free to style the hair of my younger cousins, Esther, Lily, and Lizzie, Cassandra's 3 little girls. She had 5 children in total, but the boys were usually as far away from my makeshift hair salon as possible. We all had a nickname or two at that point. The house was only ever full like this on rehearsal nights and holidays. They were some of the most joyful nights of my young life. To prepare for these evenings and my weekly hosting duties, I taught myself how to cook. I wanted to offer something, a small gift, to these women who brought so much warmth to my home. Rehearsal was at the end of the day, often after they had been working for hours and caring for children. Feeding them seemed like a kind and necessary gesture. By around the age of 4, I could scramble eggs. At age 8, I tried my hand at baked chicken. "Cynthia, this chicken is raw in the middle," Auntie Barbara told my mom one week as she pulled the meat from the bone, exposing the red vertebrae and tendons that were clearly undercooked. "Jennifer, be careful," my mom scolded. "Yes, Mommy," I replied, feeling deflated. "Don't be too hard on her, Cynthia. The chicken is seasoned so well," Auntie Barbara told her. "You did good, baby. Just cook it a little longer next time and poke it with a knife to see if blood comes out, okay?" she said as she leaned over to me, her lipstick bright and smudged from the chicken. "Yes, Auntie Barbara," I said, feeling determined to do better, as though this was an assignment for me to conquer. Like my Auntie Barbara and the other members of Majesty, my mother, grandmothers, and my extended community of Black women and queer folks would often offer me lessons, teachings from their own lives, lessons that they had struggled to learn themselves, but that had likely saved them time and again. Auntie Donna taught me about navigating the world in a tall, large-bodied frame. "Don't ever get dressed up and put on lipstick without throwing on some earrings, girl," she would tell me at church. I still chuckle about this lesson whenever I see the collection of spare earrings on my desk. Sometimes the lessons were harder and carried more weight, like when my grandmother, an outspoken, ambitious, and headstrong Black woman, warned me, "Baby, people like us spend a lot of time alone, so you just have to find the people who love you and love them right back." I was 11 years old when she said that. At the time, I didn't understand what she meant by people like us. I understand now. This informal knowledge network and storytelling community introduced me to the central tenets of Black feminism before I had the language or the training to utter those words in that sequence. But no one tells you, at least no one told me, that these quiet, quotidian experiences, these everyday Black feminisms, matter, or that they contain essential wisdom and knowledge for living. The recipes, the dating advice, the movement work, and the church and community organizing. Instead, just like most of the world, I failed to see these women's work in my life as nuanced, different, significant, or deeply rooted in an ongoing fight for liberation and freedom. It wasn't until I was surrounded by whiteness that these lessons became clearer to me. I grew up in the highly segregated Oakland Bay area, which means that I didn't have many interactions with white people until I left for college. Even while my childhood overflowed with Black women and Black feminisms, I wasn't impelled to think about Black feminism in an academic or even a formal sense. In truth, I just wasn't aware that any of this literature existed. I attended an elite private institution, but I never took a course on Black feminism because none were offered. During undergrad, I had only one Black woman professor. I had no idea that race, gender, and LGBTQIA+ scholars and researchers have been waging a decades-long battle against universities and their donors to make room for the study of diverse people on these campuses. The predominantly white campuses I gained access to successfully obfuscated the lack of willingness and desire to center Black studies, and especially Black feminism, in their curricula. And while my mother had done her best to teach me about the intersections of race, gender, class, and disability, she did so out of a need to survive. She had no college degrees or personal studies to equip her with the theories, concepts, and teachings of Black women.